Okay, in this first lesson, we're going to talk about what is meditation, what does meditation even mean, and what are you trying to accomplish when you meditate. In the next lesson, I'll talk about what meditation is in the Christian tradition, but for now, we just want to talk about what meditation is and get a good sense of its definition and what we're trying to accomplish in it. Meditation is the act of training our minds to become calmer and more focused. Now, why would we want to do that? Maybe a better question is, why would we not want to do that? Our mind is a powerful instrument, so why wouldn't we train it? We train a lot of people train their bodies in a gym. We train our pets. We train our children, or at least we try to. But how much attention do we give to training that most important instrument of ourselves, and that is our minds, our brains? And so meditation is this discipline of bringing greater calm and focus to our mental activity. Now, let's break that definition into two parts. It was calming and focusing. First, let's talk about calming. Sometimes it has been said that our mind is like a tree full of monkeys. And these, you can just kind of picture this chaos, these monkeys chattering and jumping around everywhere, and that is kind of like our minds. So meditation is the object of trying to calm those monkeys down and maybe even reduce it to one sort of calm monkey. It is not the absence of thought. We're not trying to cultivate the absence of thought completely. And some people have gotten the wrong idea too, that meditation is about eliminating thought, and that if a little meditation is good, then a lot must be even better, and that bliss must be the complete absence of thought and absence of desire. And I just do not believe that is true. It's certainly not true in the Christian tradition. But the idea of taking a rest from our compulsive thinking, the idea of taking a rest from not even compulsive thinking, but even those creative mental processes is very important. The creation narrative tells us that there is a time for creation and a time for rest, a time for withdrawal back into stillness. And that is the idea. I think you can think of meditation as a kind of mental Sabbath, a way of taking a rest from our minds. The other part of it, in terms of focusing our minds, it's this idea of being able to sustain our attention on a particular thing for an extended period of time. Our minds too often are like a TV changing channels, just one after the other. The idea is to bring that channel, to stop on one channel, so to speak, let it be a good channel, a good message, some kind of ideal that we want to internalize, and that's the idea of focused attention. Also, focused attention has to do with this idea of mindfulness. You've probably heard that word tossed around a lot. What is mindfulness, and what does it have to do with anything? Mindfulness is just turning that attention inward, being aware of what is going on inside of our bodies and inside of our minds, and not even in a judgmental way, not in a way in which we're trying to control it, at least not at first, but just awareness without judgment to draw your attention to it. Sometimes our minds are like misbehaving children. If we're an absent-minded parent and we're off doing our own thing and the kids are in another room tearing it apart, it's in chaos, that's kind of how our thoughts work. We're not always aware of what we are thinking. We're not aware of what's going on in our brain. But the second we become aware of it, it starts to calm it down. Just like if you were to walk into that room where the kids were being chaotic, hopefully they would start to calm down under observation. I know I have 4 kids. I know that doesn't always happen that way, but often it does. If our attention is aware of something, at least our thoughts, they tend to calm down and focus under our attention. And at the very least, we become aware of what is going on in our mind. And that is extremely valuable from a spiritual point of view, to know what's actually going on inside of our brain. It's surprising when you start to practice meditation, you start to realize how often we're actually not even really aware of how our minds are just kind of running in the background and thinking compulsively. The problem is when we are in this mode of compulsive, unconscious thinking, is we don't think our thoughts think us. They're running the show. And the idea of meditation is to put us in charge. And we're actually putting our spiritual self in charge of our physical self, our physical body. And I think that is one of the most important spiritual skills, if you will, that we could cultivate. Meditation has all sorts of benefits when we start doing this. It has health benefits. Research has proven that people have fewer instances of heart disease and other illnesses when they meditate regularly. It results in emotional and psychological well-being, as well as spiritual well-being. We have less anxiety and worry. We are able to better focus our attention. We become less reactive to situations. If something happens, we are less likely to be triggered. There is a space there where we can make better judgments or learn or react in a more measured, in a better way. So this is just kind of a basic overview of what meditation is, what we're trying to accomplish, and some of the benefits of it. In the next lesson, we'll discuss how does meditation fit within a Christian tradition? Is it just some fad that Christians are, some Christians are trying to latch onto? As I'll discuss, it is in fact an integral part of the Christian tradition, and it always has been, and we'll discuss that in the next lesson.